Alright traders, I'm back again with another video, and today I want to just take time to show you some clues that you can look at with the Ichimoku system, because sometimes Ichimoku can tell you if you're at a top or a bottom, or you can expect price not to go any farther, or range. And there's some ways that you can really tell this, and we're going to break it down real quick and look at it. Because first of all, we're looking here at the pound Aussie on a daily time frame, and I'm really looking at this pair to get into a nice short trade, because when I first looked at this pair, the first thing I noticed when price was here, before we even saw the rest of these candles here, once price reached this candle here, we were very far away from the Kijun with price. So we were like over 600 pips, almost 700 pips. Yeah, 722 pips. That's very far out of equilibrium. So we know that we don't want to be that far away from Kijun with price. So you could expect price to eventually start to come down and try to get back in equilibrium. But another clue that you can see is also, look how far away Tenkan and Kijun are. The Ichimoku system is made up to be everything in equilibrium, and you're not in equilibrium when you have the Tenkan and your Kijun that far apart from each other. And that'll let you know that you might be at a top. These were 530 pips away from each other right now. That's very far. You can go back on this chart and you'll never see them that far apart, really. And if they are, they're going to pull back, and price will maybe range. Maybe price will just range until it catches up, or pull back, and then price will go higher, because it needs to pull back or range for these two to get closer together. This is way out of equilibrium for the Ichimoku system. And then another clue you have, while that's happening, you also have this cloud looking much like the Tenkan and Kijun here. These two look like a C clamp coming together. You could see that clamp look, because let me move this line out of the way for you here for a real quick second. That's your Kijun down here. This looks like a clamp coming together. When they're this far apart, and that's a lot of volatility, there's signs that this market has reached the top. It's gonna stop and come down, retrace, try to get back to this level. So I leave this on my chart because I want to show you this on the 4-hour time frame. This is a good pair to look at. And then another thing I'm looking at is also the thick cloud, how the cloud gets so thick when you're near a top or bottom and it starts to roll over. You can see how span A is rolling over, but the thing here, span A and B are far apart from each other. So Ichimoku wants everything to be in equilibrium, wants A and B to be close to each other, and Tenkan and Kijun to be close to each other, and price to be close to the Kijun. Well, we're all out of equilibrium here, so this is not going to go any higher, in my opinion, based off of what I've seen using the Ichimoku system. Now, I'm not saying that it can't come back up to this level, but I don't think it'll break this level. So what I'm really looking for on the 4-hour time frame, after seeing this, I'm trading this 4-hour time frame, and everything is bearish on this. You have TK crossover. You have a TK crossover here that's bearish. You have a future that's dark, and you have Chiku span below price inside the Kumo right now. But if I can get a close below this level here, basically below this fractal level, if I get a close below this level, then I'll ride this market short all the way down to this level. Now the thing is, it's also some distance here too, with the Tenkan and Kijun on the 4-hour time frame. So that's looking like maybe price wants to pull back, maybe up to the cloud level. But once price breaks this level, I'm looking, not breaks, but closes below this level, I'm looking to get into the trade here, because I won't be risking much, because this is roughly going down 333 pips if we look to go to back to the Kijun. Now traders, we never know our reward. We never do. We always know our risk. So there's a lot of ways we can calculate our risk. One way is we can see if a fractal level develops here, and then once price breaks that level, we put our stop loss at the fractal level, and we use the close below this level to get into the trade. So we know what our stop loss is going to be. We do not know this is our reward level. We do not know that, because we don't know if price is going to get there. Price may stop here. You know what I mean? So we never know the reward ratio. So you always have a target where you may want to take profit, but you never have a definite risk reward ratio. You always have a risk, but never a reward. or you can put your stop loss above these fractal levels or to the Kijun Sen. Okay, but I'm looking, hopefully that price can move up closer to the Kijun Sen, maybe to the cloud somewhere in here and bounce off of the cloud, and then I'll take it short, because I won't really care if it ranges in this level, because I'll be at the top of the range to get into the trade. All right, so if I'm at the top of the range, then if I get taken out, then my risk was not that big. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at. Hopefully this breaks, and to pull back to the Kijun Sen on the daily time frame, this 4-hour time frame would be around 300 pips, 300 pip move. But like I said, we never know what price is going to do, so we don't know if it's going to go that far. But that would be our target, to take profit, to take some off the table, or maybe to take it all. But once price gets to that level, you want to see what it's going to do. That doesn't mean it's going to stop here. We can continue and to go lower. So that's just one thing that I wanted to show you. And I'm looking at this pound Aussie 4-hour time frame. So that's going to be a big trade for me if that happens. So I'll keep my eye on that. So we're going to continue on and look at the Euro Aussie here. The Euro Aussie is doing the exact same thing as the pound Aussie was doing. And look at the Tenkan and Kijun. They look like a C clamp. They're far apart from each other. The market has reached a high here. It's not going to go any higher until they get closer to each other. So I'm not saying the market can't go any higher, but more than likely it won't go any higher. It may come back up to this level, but it may range in this level, or it may drop back down to this level and then take off. Okay, so this big gap here with the Tenkan and Kijun is a big signal for you that you may be at a top or a bottom. And then you see your cloud is thicker, okay, because that's all the volatility. So I wouldn't trade this until these come back into equilibrium, and then maybe if you're trading long, you wait for a break of this level up here, or a pull back to the Kijun or something like that. So that's what I wanted really to show you guys, is this. Look for this all the time. If you see this, then that means you're probably at a top or bottom, and we're not going to trade this any higher. So we see this resistance level here, probably reach the top here for now. So that's Euro Aussie on the daily time frame. This pound yen on the daily time frame was also doing the same thing. And you could see when they were at the farthest apart right here, 360 pips. So let's move this blue line out of the way here. We don't need that here anyway. Let's actually take it off the chart. No, I need that. I do need it. I need to put it back here. But first of all, looking at that, when they were the farthest, it was 362 pips away from each other. And then what happened with price? Price dropped. It ranged for a while because, first of all, price got too far from Kijun to start with. And then as price got farther, so did Tenkan. And then now price pulled all the way back, bringing Tenkan closer to the Kijun. Now we're at equilibrium with price. The Tenkan and Kijun are more equilibrium, and your Senkou span A and B are back to equilibrium. Okay, because in an uptrend, A will be on top, B will be on the bottom, and you'll never find A as flat as B. B is very flat here. So let's go back to this pair here. You could see A is on top, and you could see A rolling over. Now A flattened out a little, but look how flat B is. So once A and B are far from each other, they want to get back to equilibrium also. So everything is out of equilibrium here. And you can see again on this pair, pound yen daily time frame, price had to get back to equilibrium. Kijun and Tenkan had to get back to equilibrium, and that's what happened, and price pulled all the way back to the Kijun. That's why I'm looking at the same thing on this pair here on the 4-hour time frame, as I showed you, because we have everything. This pair is actually the Euro Aussie, but on this pound Aussie, this is what I'm looking for. The exact same thing. We have that with the daily time frame, very far apart. 300, this was 600 and something pips away, so I'm expecting this to move even closer. But even Euro Aussie, same thing. Everything's bearish on this chart, on this 4-hour time frame. So really, I would, and we're ranging just as we said we might do with the other pair, but I would need to get below this level. Okay, and I wouldn't take my trade because I need to see a bounce off of something, some resistance level here. So if I don't get that, then I would have to wait for a break of this level. You could see what price is doing. Price is in the range, pretty much in the range here, and you need to get outside of that range. You could even move your range down to here. So once price closes below this, then we can see price attacking this level here. So this is Euro Aussie, but this pound Aussie, as I said before, I love this pound Aussie. Even if I could get a pullback up to this level somewhere, would be very nice because we'll look to see price get closer to the Kijun Sen on a daily time frame, which would be a 4-hour, take us all the way down here, be a very nice trade. So back to the pound yen daily time frame, and you can see, like I said, price had to pull back. So these are signals that you really look for when you're looking to go longer and everything's out of equilibrium, especially when Tenkan and Kijun are far apart like this. You wouldn't want to be going long here while they're this far apart from each other. That's one big signal for you to look at. All right, you can see it here. It's not too bad, but they still are separated. So maybe we're close to a top. You can see what the cloud does. It gets wider and wider. Span A and B get farther apart, more volatility, the market ranges. So this one's not as bad, but it's still a signal that you could look for. This is US dollar yen on the daily time frame. So again, look at the euro pound daily time frame. Look at this exact same thing that I told you here. So a lot of times when I see this happen, I know that I'm at a double bottom or double top or some kind of bottom or top. And sure enough, look what this is doing. Getting thicker, and then span A is rolling over because A will be on the bottom on a downtrend. So A is rolling over. B is going to be the flatter one. And they're going to they want to get back closer to each other. All right. So the only way that can happen is if price drops or comes higher. Price bounced off of this level. It was very far from Kijun Sen price was. So price needs to get back into equilibrium. Tenkan and Kijun need to get back into equilibrium, so they need to get closer to each other. When you see them this far apart, you don't want to take a trade shorter. When they're this far apart, you don't want to try to take this shorter. Plus you have price very far from Kijun. Just not a good trade to get into. All right, so your probabilities are very low on a trade like that. So you wait for everything to get back in equilibrium. As I said, every single thing on this chart is out of equilibrium. Price is, Tenkan and Kijun is, and your span A and B are out of equilibrium. And again, like I said, Ichimoku likes to be in equilibrium. Same exact thing on this chart. Okay, so I know that I'm at some kind of major bottom or something when I see this. Look how far apart these are. Just getting farther and farther, and then price stops here. Look how the cloud is getting thicker, and still this is not rolling over yet. Now I took a trade on this, but it wasn't based off of the Ichimoku system, so I'll take it off real quick, because one thing I really like to look at when I reach a double bottom or a double top, I am definitely going to trade that, not using Ichimoku but using support and resistance. So I reached the double bottom here. And double bottoms and double tops are strong in the market. You could see this price here. When price hit this level, it never came back for a long time. Look how far away it went from this level. Very far. And now finally it came back to that level. I expect it to really move off of this level. And right now, 63 pip profit. I expect price to bounce around here. Price doesn't usually leave a level much like it does here. A double top and double bottom, sometime it will take off like that, but a lot of times when price reaches a bottom, just a basic bottom or a top, price will hit this level and then maybe range a little bit, maybe come up here somewhere and then come back to that level before going again. All right, so that's what you look for a lot of times on bottoms or tops, especially trading the Ichimoku system. We'll put this back on the chart. And you can see if this is a bottom, a lot of times it'll hit this bottom and then maybe come up here a little and then come back to that bottom before finally going and having your Kumo breakout to the upside. All right, so again, let me put the Tenkan back on here, and you could see, just look at how far apart they are. This is really out of equilibrium. So I don't expect price to really do much damage down here. I expect price to move back up to get this all back in equilibrium. Now pound CAD, same thing. You could see what happened here. They were far apart from each other, and then price just dropped all the way back to Kijun. So there again, you had a bounce off of the Kumo cloud up here. So just seeing how far apart these Tenkan and Kijun get from each other is going to be a very big indication of what you need to look at when you're getting into a trade. If they're very far apart, you don't want to be trading against that. You want to be trading with that to get back into equilibrium. And a lot of times it'll be a counter trend trade. So this here, this right here would have been a trade that we wanted to take, which would have been in a line with everything on Ichimoku system, because basically you would have had a bounce off of the top here. But now we don't take this short because we really don't want to trade below. If we're above Kijun, we don't want to trade short above Kijun. Kijun is like our trend line, and what it usually tells us is when you cross over Kijun one way or the other, that you can expect maybe price to have a price for change of direction. So we bounced here, price came down. You know, I follow my rules, so I wouldn't have taken this trade. I would wait to get a bounce here and maybe look for a Kumo breakout. Now if we close below this Kijun, then I may be looking for something different. All right, but right now we just really wanted to pay attention to the distance here of Tenkan and Kijun, and that's what this mainly is about today. To understand the distance between Tenkan and Kijun, you really should look at that as a sign or a signal for you on a trade. And here again we have the same thing. I'm in another trade right here. This is a counter trend trade because look how far apart these two are. And usually when you get far apart like this, it means something. There's some kind of major level. And then you could see we're getting thickness of the cloud, and we had some momentum going, but it looks to be dying out. So this could be a top. And what happens is a lot of times a top, you don't always take off and just shoot away from it. But now I'm 96 pip profit right here. So maybe this is going to be the maybe price may range here. But let's go to the 4-hour time frame, and then I'll tell you how I got into this trade and why. So on the 4-hour time frame, you could see price was far away from the Kijun. That's one major thing you always want to look at. And then you could see that how far away your Tenkan and Kijun were from each other. And a lot of times you could see it's far away here, so price ranges. Then it got back together, tried to get back together, and then price took off. But look at here, they're not super far here. So this isn't as bad as the ones on the daily chart that I showed you. So that's the signal that I look for. That's a sign that I look for. But I got into this trade. Again, this was not off of Ichimoku. This was a counter trend trade. Ichimoku helped me to find this trade because when I was looking at Ichimoku and I saw what it was doing, I also made notice of this daily time frame. So I take Ichimoku off my chart for now, and I could see another double top. Okay, and I made my zone here because I make a zone off of the wicks. And when price gets into that zone, I'm trading. And I took it short. Now it's a counter trend trade, so we never really know how far it's going to drop. But right now, 93 pips is great for me. And I'm just going to wait and see if it can go farther. And I'll continue to monitor that. So that's not much on Ichimoku there, but that's just a little nugget for you guys, okay? I always trade double tops and double bottoms no matter if it's Ichimoku or not. Ichimoku will never catch a double top and double bottom because you'll have to counter trend trade to catch those. Okay, so I always trade double tops and double bottoms off of support and resistance trading. All right, so that's all I really wanted to talk about today. Just wanted to let you guys see that, understand that. Just be aware of when you see that big gap there. When you see that big gap. When you see that gap. Major gaps like this is really major. be aware of those, and don't trade in the direction that away from that gap. Don't try to go farther while that gap is already extended that wide. Wait till price gets closer and gets back in equilibrium. Price will eventually move up to here maybe, and then you could start looking for trades. Keep the probabilities in your favor. Miss a trade just because the probabilities aren't in your favor, because missing that trade, there's going to be a bunch of other trades. If you keep catching trades like this that are not in your probability, high probability trades, your account is going to dwindle down and you will not be able to trade eventually. So it's better to wait for high probability trades. This would not be a good trade to take short at this level, no matter what, how far you are from Kijun and how far Tenkan and Kijun are from each other. So just a little signal for you guys to watch out for when you're trading Ichimoku, and help you to decide if you want to get into a trade or not. All right, traders, hope you learned something from this, and I guess I'll see you next time. Until next time, have a great weekend, have a great trading week, and God bless. So long.